Good morning, good evening, good day, and welcome to Drama Buds. I'm Francine. I really love K dramas, and I'm going to spend as much time as I want talking about them. Welcome to my podcast. So, hello everyone. Today our episode is a little different from usual. We have another guest on our show. My best friend Louie. Hello, Louie. Hi.
Hi.
Okay. So please introduce yourself. How did you end up in the K drama world with
Okay.
me?
My first K drama was Boys Over Flowers. I feel like
Oh,
that's so typical.
classic.
I was like 9 years old or something, and I was waiting at like my tita's dental clinic, and it was just on. That was the only thing that was on the entire day because they have like the pirated CD or
Mm.
something. So we were watching that, and I was like, wow, this is so interesting. This is like genuinely, I am invested for some reason in the antics of Boys Over Flowers.
In the toxic,
Oh, yeah,
abusive behaviors of the
manipulative.
2000s. Yes,
I
yes.
know it was so bad. I tried rewatching; it was terrible.
Oh,
Oh,
yikes, yikes.
and then I guess fast forward to grade 6, My
Mm.
Love from the Star came out again.
Classic.
Yeah,
Same,
so I
same,
got
same.
into it. Oh, I got into it. I was like, wow, this now is also interesting, amazing. This plot is kind of weird. Like looking back, it was kind of a weird plot,
Yeah,
but
same.
wow, I was so hooked. We watched it in one day because again, we had the pirated CD from
Stop
Metro.
talking about piracy on a podcast. Stop talking about piracy, man.
Sorry, cut this out.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Okay. So yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we watched that for like one whole day. We finished all 24 episodes. And then we were like,
Jesus.
damn, we finished it. So we need more, obviously. And I guess there was a lull between grade 6 and grade 8 after watching My Love from the
Mm,
Start because nothing was really clicking with me.
true.
I don't
Same.
know, I wasn't liking anything I was watching. And then in high school, K drama was kind of like gaining traction among everyone.
Yeah.
They were like passing videos around, and I had my iPad. So,
Once again, stop talking about piracy. Stop it. Stop.
so basically, in high school, everyone was watching, what was it? Descendants of the Sun, Legend of the Blue Sea.
Mm.
Yeah,
Weightlifting. Weightlifting fairy.
Weightlifting Fairy. Oh, I love Weightlifting.
Oh, really? Okay.
I love that show. It was chill. Yeah.
Mm.
So after that, I guess it just kind of snowballed from there because I followed a bunch of Facebook groups. I was following a bunch of users that were also really into K dramas. And I followed a lot of people's recommendation. Like, for example, you
Yes.
recommended a lot of things to me, and I
Yes.
watched them. Oh, so that's
I, I recommended a lot of things in the past, like 8 months of quarantine. Only now did I enter this world. Okay.
yeah. I like
So,
wrote everything down on my phone, all the
yes.
recs. So,
Thank you.
oh,
Okay.
beautiful.
So yes, welcome to the K-drama world. Um, and now today we're going to discuss V show. Like for me, like same. I had a similar history, like Boys Over Flowers, My Love from the Star. But like the thing that got me hooked now, like that got me hooked this bad, this intensely, is our show for today, Hospital Playlist. Yes, yay. Okay. I'll introduce the show. This is the most recap we can give because after this there is no more plot. There's nothing to talk about. It's just about the characters, right?
Beautiful, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So Hospital Playlist is a story of five doctors. Lee Jun, played by Jo Jung Sok, Che Song Hwa, played by John Mido, An Jong Won, played by Yoo Yun Sok, Kim Jun Wan, played by Jong Kyung Ho, and Yang Sok Yong, played by Kim Dim Yong. Five doctors who were friends since they were in med school, and now they're working together in one hospital. And they also have a band that they just play they just play covers of the songs that they liked. And there, every episode, they have one like band scene or performance scene. And the actors actually learned the instruments that they're playing in the show. And yeah, that's it. That's the story. Nothing, there is no plot to this show. They just live their lives. But that's why we love it, right?
Yes, that's why we
Yes.
love it. Wow.
Okay. So, Hospital Playlist is like really famous, or like it had a lot of hype because it was directed by Shin Won-ho, this like famous producer or director, right? Who directed the much acclaimed Reply series that started in 2012, right? 1997. And oh, we have a history with the Reply series also, right? Louis, what
Yeah.
have, or with Shin PD in general, what have you watched of his shows?
Reply 1988, and then I've seen like a few scenes of Prison Playbook on YouTube. So that's my
Okay, okay.
experience with him. And so far, I can see the parallels. I can see,
Right.
right, there are
Yeah, yeah,
themes that are similar from both shows, and it's great.
yeah. Like for me, I watched Prison Playbook. No, we watched Hospital Playlist first, and then Prison Playbook, and then Reply 88. And like, you'd think, why do people get bored of this guy? He kind of does a lot of similar things throughout
Yeah.
his different shows, but honestly, he gets better and better. I mean, okay, what did you like about like Reply that you found in Hospital Playlist again? Because
Okay.
yeah,
Mm, I guess the core of both shows is like the friend group, the main friend group, right? They're both
right.
composed of like five people, five characters, and then it's about their bonds with one another and then their bonds with like other people. So in Reply 88, the five and their relationships with their respective families are the ones like the relationships being explored. And then in Hospital Playlist, it's the five and then their respective like doctors and teams in their
Mm-mm.
departments. And I guess that's a similar thing I found. And there's like a bit like a little there's like an overlap of character dynamics, not overlap, like a similarity
Mm.
from both shows that I found kind of interesting. I feel like we'll talk about that later since it's about
Wait, who? I'm
the
curious.
one we discussed before, like the main character and then the sibling of the main character gets
Okay,
together with
go. Just
one of their
describe
friends.
who is this?
Okay, so in 88, it was Sunwoo and Bora. And then in Hospital Playlist, it's Junwan and Iksun. And it
Right.
kind of plays out the same way, I feel. Because right at the end of Hospital Playlist, Iksun has to go abroad for
Mm.
her special, like, for,
Doctorate, I think. Is
yeah,
it? Yeah.
I think it's doctorate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she's gonna pursue that, and I guess it'll be explored in the second season. But it's similar to 88 because that's how like Bora also ended up at the end of the series
Hmm.
where she pursues law and I don't know, is that a spoiler?
No, it's okay to talk about spoilers. Okay, for those listening, we assume you've watched Hospital Playlist and also, maybe Reply 1988. So that's on you.
Yeah.
There are
So,
spoilers for both and for Prison Playbook for me also. Okay,
okay.
go.
So I feel like that's something I found like their dynamic, how they're kind of not really separated, but they're unintentionally or I guess intentionally
Mm.
keeping it a secret from the other
Mm,
characters.
mm,
It's
mm,
like independent to their dynamic to the other four
mm, mm.
like main. So
Yeah.
I found that interesting. No, the sibling
You know,
friend
you know what's
thing.
funny? Because Jung Kyung Ho, the actor playing Junwan, was also in Prison Playbook, right? He was like another main cast there, and that's also his role. That's also the love
Oh,
interest he got, the sister of the main guy. So I just feel like that's the nice thing about watching the other Shin PD shows that came before. It's like he plays a not cameo. What do you call that? An homage
yeah,
to
an
like his
homage. Yeah,
yeah to his previous works. It's like an inside joke of the Shin PD cinematic universe.
universe. Oh,
Marvel is shaking. The Shin PD cinematic universe is really that's why it's so funny.
yeah,
Like they really gave him this storyline again, but
yeah.
then yeah he I mean, that's the cute thing about like the Shin PD shows. It's like when you see the same actors over and over again, it's like, so they really had a good experience with the show. Like they had a lot of, like that's what Kyung Ho said. Like he really enjoyed his time in Prison Playbook. That's why he agreed to come again to the next show. So that's so cute. Yeah.
Yeah. Same with Yoon Suk, I think. Because he
Mm,
was in, right?
94. 94.
94.
94. Reply 1994. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have not
And
watched that actually.
I haven't watched it either. I just see clips of it because
Mm-mm.
I'm on YouTube a lot and it shows up in the
Yeah.
algorithm.
Mm.
But I watched the making of, I think, episode 19 of the making of Hospital Playlist. And
Mm.
you can see, like, Yoon Suk, he greets a bunch of, like, staff members from
Mm.
94 as well.
Mm.
So that's, I think, a nice thing that I find from, like, Shin PD's works is that he gets a lot of the same people, and it really creates this really nice environment that reflects back onto the production quality of the show, because everybody has kind of a history with one another and they all kind of know each other in some way.
Yeah. I think it's gonna get even better with season 2. Because like it's all the same people, right? I'm
Yeah.
so excited for
I'm
season
so
2.
excited.
Like I watch the behind the scenes stuff every week because just like I miss them so
Same.
much. You know what's funny? It's like the first episode of Hospital Playlist released at the very first week of lockdown. And we're still gonna be here next year
I
for
know.
season 2. Oh my god. It's for me. It's really the milestone, the timestamp of how long I've been at home. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, this
Oh,
show. This show.
so good.
But yeah, talking about the cast, like, I just, okay, because there's this huge cast, right? I mean, if you
Yeah.
saw, if for those who also watch the behind the scenes clips on YouTube, if you see the table read, it's like a huge conference room full
So
of people.
huge.
Like the table where all the actors are lined up, it's huge. There's so many people involved. And like it's kind of amazing how this was my criticism with Reply 1988 actually.
Okay.
It's like, yeah, you have the main five. Are there five people?
Yeah, main
Five, the
five.
main five, and yeah, they have their individual families. But then, like at some point, for me, I just felt like I was losing sight of them. Like, oh, I'm sorry.
Mm.
Okay, I'll just name drop the plot line that I found so unnecessary. The
Go.
one with Mickey and Jongbong.
Oh, same.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, Jungbong.
Okay. So, Jungwon, Reply 1988 spoilers. Jungwon's brother has a love line with Doksun's best friend, Mickey. And like, I mean, I get it. When it first happened, like the scene with the umbrella, and it's like,
Yeah.
that was cute because we didn't expect that something would happen between these two like supporting side characters, right?
Mm.
But then it just kind of got dragged on, like, oh, they can't meet because they think Mickey's father is a gangster or something, and Jongbong's gonna get beat up, and then they keep missing each other, and then eventually they break up because Mickey moves to the U.S. And like, okay, I get it. I don't know. The start was cute, but I kind of wish they just dialed down on it because I just
Same.
found it so unnecessary. Like the plot line started to get bloated for me because I was just like,
Yeah.
why am I still watching this? I just want to get to like the heartwarming moments, I just want to
Yeah.
cry. Just let me cry, Shin PD. This is what I'm here for.
Really.
But anyway, where was I? Where was I headed with this? Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, the cast.
So in Hospital Playlist, I think they got a lot better at managing like the five main characters, and then their groups, their department, and their stories, and then they also have stories of like their patients and all. And
Mm.
yeah, I think they just got better at handling how huge their cast was. Right? Like
That's
each
true.
character got a spotlight. They also got their own stories. And even if the supporting characters got like their own side stories and stuff, like it I didn't feel lost, or I didn't feel like I don't want to hear about them anymore. I just want to go back to the main characters.
Same thoughts. I guess the plot of the side characters or their arcs, their small arcs, they were also still in service of the main five. Like were able to incorporate their stories with the main five, so it didn't feel too bloated. Because I agree with what you said about Reply 88, and I don't know, the Jungbong Mickey arc. It was so we I couldn't get into it at first because I remember in an earlier episode, Jungbong, like Mama, Mama Tiger, she mentions
Mama
Jungbong.
Cheetah.
Yeah,
Yes,
Mama,
yes.
Mama Cheetah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, she mentions he was supposed to have graduated college if he got in the first year, and
Mm.
Doksun and her friends are in third year high school at that point, at
Oh,
that episode, right? So it was kind of
yeah.
weird for me to get into because even Bora, who always like really emphasizes her age with her, seniority with the other five,
Mm-mm.
she calls him Oppa, diba? So
Mm-mm.
he's older than her. And it was really weird for me to get into. Like, I'm glad that they made them reconnect when they were older. But at the same time, yeah, it was a lot of emphasis and focus on those two when a lot of things were also happening. It wasn't a good balance because we were all kind of low key waiting for the main five to get back on screen or to
Mm.
continue with their plot lines.
But yes. So, oh, I realized why, I guess, it improved because there are only 12 episodes in season 1. So I feel like they were able to tell a tighter story. Because, with Reply, they only had one season. And then they made it 20 episodes of like an hour and a half almost, right? Every
Yeah.
episode. So I just felt like it's not a plot driven show. There's not much plot going on. So it's really just, about the characters and their daily lives. So I feel like, by the, 13th or 15th episode, like, there's only so much more you can tell about them. But because Hospital Playlist only has 12 episodes in season 1, like, they were able to really control, like, the pacing of the story or what little story there
Yeah.
is. Right, right.
Yeah.
Um,
What else? Ooh, the band aspect of Hospital Playlist. I think that was really, I don't know, they were able to execute it so well.
I know, I
It
know,
was
I
so
know.
good.
Oh, like, right. I remember when we first watched, like, the band scenes. I thought they were just hand syncing. I thought they weren't playing the instruments for real.
Same.
Because, like, why would they? I've watched too many musical shows where they're just pretending to play the instruments. But then, like, when I found out that they actually learned how to play the instruments. And then they even did a live concert right
Yeah,
after
I
the.
watched that.
Oh my gosh,
I watched that
same!
live concert.
I had
Oh.
no idea what they were saying, but I was just so happy to see them. And it's like it's so cute because the five main actors are actually friends.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of a miracle that five grown grown men and women are like really that close with each other so quickly, right? It's only been a
Yeah.
few months since they less than a year since they
Yeah,
met.
that's the
So
year.
cute.
I remember watching the another behind the scenes video. I'm gonna keep referencing that because I also watched all the episodes. But when the five of them first met, or I think the four of them, Yunsuk wasn't even
Mm,
there, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, it was really awkward. There were a lot of long stretches of silence in general. And you really see the development in the later episodes when they're all hanging out, when they're able to spend more time with one another. And the chemistry worked really well. And that's what the creators wanted to, like, yeah, that was their goal for the five as well
Mm,
because they wanted their chemistry to be real so that it bled on screen. And it's
yeah.
really good because I'm gonna mention their like eating scenes or what their dining their dinner scenes.
Yeah.
They In the second episode, we finally see the five of them sharing a meal together. I think in the first episode, they weren't it wasn't shown yet because there were a lot of
Yeah.
things to
Because they
establish, right?
weren't all working together yet, right? In the first
Yeah.
episode, like, it was getting them together. It's the
Yeah.
Avengers coming together. Yeah, yeah. But in the second episode, they were all working together. Yeah.
Right? In that dinner scene in the second episode, it was really nice to watch because you can really see in even in like small actions that aren't really emphasized on camera, that they've been friends for a long time. Like I rewatched that scene so many times, and I could see Ikjun pouring a glass of water for Songhwa, and then we see Andrea like yeah, we, we see him like he's watching everybody when Songhwa has like a pain in her neck. He gives her like a pain relief patch, and then later he gives her tissue. And then when Songhwa is passing like the chili to Junwan, we hear the spoon fall, and then he asks for a spoon. Everything feels very, like you can tell that they're close. You can tell that they're
Mm.
friends because of how they act, and
Mm.
they already know what the other needs.
Yeah, I think that's really to the credit of the director. Like, oh, when you okay, so in the behind the
Yes.
scenes video of the table read, right? Like when they were reading out their lines, that's when you realize this script is really there's nothing to it. Like they're just saying,
Yeah.
everyday words and it's really nothing special. But it's the director and the actors who bring it to life.
Yeah.
Like, right? I mean, it's just a conversation about them, having dinner, right? With each other. And it's nothing. It's
Yeah.
nothing. But because of how the director like paced everything and how the actors like act out their characters, which by the way, like Shin PD has a tends to like cast people in characters that are already similar to their real life
Like
personalities, right?
personalities.
Right?
Yeah.
Like Jo Jung Suk is perfect as Ikjun. He's the
Perfect.
I mean, as a person, he's really that charming and that
He
like
is.
oh I love Jo Jung Suk so much.
Same.
In the last behind the scenes, did you see him like teaching baby Uju how to read?
Oh, I
Right?
didn't.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was so cute. He's gonna be a great dad.
Oh,
That's wait, I'm
oh,
sorry. Where were we? Wait,
oh
oh
no.
no.
Oh.
Oh no. So the personalities, right?
Yeah, the personalities.
Right, sorry. Distracted by my love for Jo Jung Suk.
It's okay.
Um yeah, so I just feel like because he casts actors that are similar to the characters' personalities, like they can act it out so naturally. Because all you have to do is be yourself,
Yeah.
right? And like be conscious that there's a camera, but yeah, just have to mostly be yourself. And I don't know, I just find that so charming. I just think like that's that's something that Shin PD has really refined over the years. Like getting good actors who can act out characters similar to their personality. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
It is.
it really brings to life like what you said, the characters on paper. Like it translates well on screen because of how similar they are. Like they act how their characters would act. So even little gestures or actions, it looks in line with the character when it might just be the actor being themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, the band. Wait, going back to the band
Yeah, to the
aspect.
band.
Right, we were talking about the band. Um, I think for me personally, why I liked the band aspect so much, it's because like there is no goal to them playing music together, right? Like there's no
Yeah.
competition, there's no album that they want to make, or it's not like, oh, it's this their secret passion that they've hid all these years. Like they just the main premise of the band being set up was that Jongwon was getting trying to get everyone to work in the same hospital that his family owned, and then all of them were agreeing to it because it's good money. But Sokyung, because he's kind of a weird person, he doesn't care about the money. He wants the chill life. But if he were going to work in this hospital, he wants to reunite their band. Like that's all he wanted, right?
Yeah.
And so, like at the end of the season, he had the opportunity to take over his father's clothing company because his
Yeah.
father died, right?
Yeah.
And he said something like, I don't I don't want to waste my time doing something I don't love. Something like that, right? Like
Yeah.
my time is precious and I don't want to waste my time, not doing something I don't love. And I just want to spend it with you guys, with my friends. And so like that was just such a nice thing. Like their bond as friends, it translates to their band, right? It all
Yeah.
started here. So I just love that. Like it's not there's no ulterior motive or like hidden agenda with their band scenes. Like they just want to spend time with each other. That's so wholesome.
It really
Uh,
was, especially now when people are told, "Oh, you should commodify this like hobby of yours. Oh, you can make money over what you
mm,
like, diba? Over the stuff you're able to do and produce." And yeah, it really is nice to see people making art for the sake of art, you know?
mm.
Like they just enjoy what they're doing. And I think they mentioned it in the very first episode, like, "Oh, do you want like I think
I
what's
think
that?
Jongwon asked Sokyung, "Do you
Yeah.
want to perform at a stadium or something?"
Yeah, that
Sok said no.
one.
Then okay,
Yeah.
it's fine. We don't need to be good.
Yeah,
We
we
just
don't
need to
need
have a band.
yeah, that one.
Yeah, I
Oh,
love that. Like honestly, that's a perfect way to describe the show. It's just wholesome. You know,
mhm.
everyone's just working hard and doing their best, and like these are really nice people. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of magical how they all end up together, like in one hospital, working together, and they're still friends for 20 years. Like
Oh,
you think we're gonna be friends for 20 years?
yeah. We'll just keep
yeah,
talking about K dramas
yeah,
for
we're
20
just gonna be
years.
like this for the next. We're like we're 7 years down. You know,
Yeah.
there's another 13. It's fine.
Oh.
but anyway, it's just wholesome. Their friendship.
Oh.
But
Mm.
aside from the friendship, sometimes
Ooh.
there's love.
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's go,
Ooh.
Louis.
Here it is. Here it is.
So a little background on us. Louis and I, we we have one brain cell, right?
We do.
We do,
We
we
really
do.
do.
Like every time I recommend you something or you recommend me something and say like, "Oh, I ship something here." We don't say what it is. We
Yeah.
just wait. Just wait. And
Yeah.
then one day someone messages the other person, "Oh my god, I shipped this ship." And it's like, "Same. Same."
I was waiting for you to say it.
I was so scared you wouldn't say it. But
Yeah.
I'm so glad we're on the same side. This is
Perfect.
us.
Yeah. No fights.
No,
Because
we have
ship the same
never had a
people.
ship war. That's great. Like in Reply 1988,
Yeah.
right? I started watching it before you, but I was super slow because I was watching with my sister and she works. So she can't
Yeah.
spend all day watching K-drama like me. But you binged it in one
I did.
weekend because you're crazy.
Yeah, I binged it in like 2 days. I finished it.
How did you finish? Okay, wait. 20 episodes times like 1.5 hours.
Mhm.
30 hours.
I finished it.
You were
Oh.
crazy.
I don't know what to say.
You're insane. But anyway, so you watched it before me, and then we didn't really talk about it until I said, I gotta ask, what do you ship? And I really thought you were gonna be a Jungwon shipper because
No.
everyone's a Jungwon shipper. Like I honestly had like this bias against him while watching the show because I was just so annoyed that everyone shipped him instead of accepting the fact that it was Take.
Yeah, it was Take
and
the
Doksan
whole
ended up
time.
together. And like as I was watching it, because I already knew the ending, obviously, I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, I see why others would like it, but Take is a damn good match for Doksun, right? Right? So I was just like, oh no, is she gonna say Jungwon? She said, no, of course I'm on Take's side. I'm like, yes. Thank you, intellectual. Once again, one brain cell.
Intellectual.
So, when I recommended Hospital Playlist, I said, "Oh, I mean, I shipped something, but just watch it. I just want to see what you end up shipping." And then you first you said Songhwa and
And
Junwan.
yeah.
I kind of see why they were kind of. I think they were setting a little bit of that up.
Yeah.
And then within one episode, he said, "Oh no, I shipped Ikjun and Songwon."
Yeah.
Yeah. No effort required from me. I did not need to persuade you to ship that. It just happened. I can't believe you got it on the first episode.
It was the shoulder touch, when they were taking a picture in that flashback and she sat next to Ikjun, and before the camera flashed, he put his hand on her shoulder. I mean,
I did not expect.
it
I
was so.
For me, it was episode 6, like the whole flashback when you found out that Ikjun actually liked Songhwa, right? And then when
Oh,
he
yeah.
when he came with her to the hospital to get a
Hospital.
checkup, see if she
Mm,
had a tumor, I was like,
great.
damn. Like, okay, on one, like, you'd think, oh, he's such a good friend. Like, he's going to be there for her checkup. And then when you see the
Yeah.
flashback, it's like, oh,
Oh.
oh, could this be?
Mm.
Oh, I see. And then he was married. He was still married at the start of the show,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, you would think, there's nothing's gonna happen here. He's a good guy. He's not gonna do that to his wife, even if she's missing in action. But they got a divorce because she's an awful person
Ooh.
who doesn't deserve him.
That's true.
And Iksong, ah, like I just feel like this is the slow burn of our dreams. The 20-year slow burn.
I know. It's like 500K friends to lovers. You know?
Imagine someone writing a slow burn fanfic for
No.
20 years,
And
like, damn.
mutual pining. Oh, you got it.
I firmly believe that season 2 will not disappoint us. Like,
Same.
if they mess this up, I will storm up to Korea and beat Shin PD up. Like, how dare you destroy
How
Iksong for me? I just feel like their moments are so domestic.
it
It's like
really
they're already
is.
a married couple.
Mm. My favorite scene with them was when she goes over because he has to go to the hospital and Uju is sick, right?
Ujo's
And then,
son, he has a son.
yeah, he has
I
a
think I forgot to
son
mention.
and he's sick, so he calls Songhwa first. Out of the other four, he calls her first. And then when he comes back, he sees his the friend that he has feelings for, sleeping with his son. And then she wakes up and they're eating, I guess, breakfast, right? Because it's morning already. And it's raining, and the camera pans out the window when it's raining, and you see how they're at the back of the kitchen, far away from the window, and the water just blurs it all together. And I was like, is this? I love the
I
cinematography of
know.
Shin PD. It's like, wow, yeah, because their domestic life is literally just so blissful. I feel like that's what the scene was trying to convey, that them together in this setting is really a good match, and they're great for one another. I don't know what else to say. They're great
Oh,
for one another.
I know. And the lines in that scene, like, I remember when I was watching this with my sister, because we watched this together. Like, we did not expect anything to happen in that scene. We're just like, oh, cute, they're eating together. And then, okay, so Song asks him, so what do you do for yourself? Like, for me, I buy stuff for camping, and yeah, I relax away from my job and all. And then June like stops eating. He says, eating like this with you. That's a treat I give myself. And
Oh,
like my sister and I were like holding each other's hands. We were hugging. We're like, what's happening? Is this really a moment? This is the moment.
the
And it's like,
moment.
okay. So Songwa, of course, like, that's I think she's smart enough to figure out that's a confession to something, right? And so
Yeah,
like she looks out the window and it's raining by now. And like she loves the rain. Apparently it's their thing to go out and eat when it's raining. So she looks out the window, but she's so like dazed and all. And he says like, don't you see that it's raining? Like, do you want to open the window? And she's like, oh wait, it was raining, something like that. Because like that's
yeah,
how caught off guard she was. Like that's how surprising it is. Like, imagine your crush from 20 years ago that you
yeah.
didn't expect anything would happen. It's been ages, and suddenly he confesses like that. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Ah,
it was so good. I feel like, yeah, she wasn't oblivious at all because what's the name of her?
Chihong.
Yeah, Chihong. I
Yeah,
forgot about him already.
her neurosurgeon resident who has
Yeah,
feelings for her.
I know. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, we
But
will.
thoughts on that? But right when before he even confesses to Songhwa in an early episode, she asks him first. She's like, "Do you like me?" And then he says, "Yeah, I do." So without him even saying anything close to what Ikjun said in that scene, she already knew. And I think yeah, on some level, she was aware of what he was trying to tell her, but she didn't know how to respond to it.
Yeah. Like that's the thing I like about Songhwa. She's a very good communicator, you know? Like she's
Yes.
straight to the point. And when Chihong like confessed to her, she said, "No, stop. Don't like me," right? She's
Yeah.
so clear about her feelings. So the fact that okay, so at the finale of season 1, Ikjun really like flat out said, I've liked this friend, for how many years, and if I check it out of this, I know I'll regret it. So you don't have to answer me now, but just give it some time, right? And the
Yes.
fact that she didn't answer right away, I think that just shows like she's really thinking about it. You know, she's not gonna jump into it. She's an adult, but she's not saying no because if she really didn't like him, she would have said no
Yeah.
immediately. So that
Immediately.
means there's a possibility.
Mm.
I mean, yeah, Iksong Endgame. I firmly believe.
I
Firmly
also
believe.
firmly believe.
Anyway, talking about Chihong, there are people out there who still really ship him with Songhwa. Like they didn't give up on it until the very end. Until it was
Yeah.
confirmed that he's not coming back for season 2. And it's just like, they always say like, oh, Itjun made her uncomfortable in the okay, so they went out drinking, right, with the other neurosurgeon residents and
Yeah.
stuff. And they were playing a drinking game and then spin the bottle like like college students, like one of us. Anyway, and and then like Chihong kept asking Ikjun like, "Oh, do you like um Songa? Do you like Dr. Songa?" And then like he kept, dodging the question until like he just got super drunk and said, "Yeah, I've seen her as a woman. I've had feelings for her. Of course, I
Yeah.
had feelings for Of course, he
Of
had
course,
feelings
like it
for
was
her."
like a fact, like yeah, it's like who wouldn't? It's like that's what he's implying in that scene. Who wouldn't
Yeah, yeah,
look at
yeah.
Songhua and not like her? Like, wow, the power.
Anyway, and like I got so annoyed at some fans when they were saying like, "Oh, he made her uncomfortable in that scene. He embarrassed her in front of her department." And it's like, once who was asking the
Yeah,
questions? Who was trying to fish for this information? It was Chihong.
Chihong.
Okay.
Honestly,
Gosh,
I
stop
didn't
blaming
like that scene
Ikjun.
because of Chihong, not Ikjun. Ikjun was being a gentleman. He wasn't saying anything. He was like he just drank the soju like a proper person.
Right?
Yeah. It
I
was
mean,
so awkward because their seniority, obviously, it wasn't in the hospital, but they're still their seniors. They're still a professor and an assistant professor. Am I right? Or those their
no, no, no.
positions? I
Who's
know
a professor?
June is an assistant, and
Yeah, yeah,
then
yeah, yeah, yeah. But
like
like at that
yeah,
point, they're just seniors. They're just like legit doctors now at this point. The
yeah,
rest
they're
are
like legit
residents. Yeah,
doctors compared to the residents.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that was making me so uncomfortable to watch. Like even though it was really sweet, like we got a confession out of it, the context of
Hmm.
that confession was very forced. And before that happened, Chihong was already like overstepping, he was kind
Right.
of overstepping when he like, oh, there's hair on your shirt, so I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna lean in real close and take it out. And then when it was his birthday and he grabbed her shoulder, like in the court. I was like,
Ugh.
why? She said no. I think they also tried to emphasize how Chihong was wrong in this instance because I know that a scene before this, it was Junwan and Iksun, right? And she thought, okay, yeah, context is Iksun thought that Junwan was going to propose to her even though she said she didn't want to get married. And Junwan said, no, what kind of man would I be if I didn't respect your wishes, right? Something like that. He said something
Gosh.
along those lines. And right
Yes.
after that, right after we see Junwan respect Iksun's boundaries because he just gave her like a Bluetooth head like earphones, right? So that they could listen to music together. That was the scene,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Yes.
And then right after that, we see Chi Hong doing like trying to make a move on Songhua when she said to stop, like don't stop liking me. I feel like they really emphasized it because of what preceded that scene, and it just made me so uncomfortable because he really wouldn't stop. Like I get it, you're trying to shoot your shot, but your crush said no.
Yeah, I mean, how many no's does it take for you to back off? It should stop at one, you
Yeah,
know?
it should stop at
It
one.
should probably stop at one. Like, I was about to say, this is not a K drama. And then I realized, wait, this is actually a K drama.
Okay,
In
drama.
real life, if someone did that, I would say, this is not a K drama. You stop at one, man.
Yeah.
Your insistence, your persistence will not convince them. Like, just give it some time.
Really won't.
Gosh. Anyway, but yeah, I feel bad that his character got written out like at the end of season one. But I mean, they gave him a. I don't know how they're gonna write him out actually.
Yeah, it's
Like what story
weird.
they're gonna tell, but I trust Shin PD. And
Yeah.
like, what story does he have? You know, aside from being the guy who's hoping, who's hoping to get Songwa. So
Yeah.
they're gonna add more characters, right?
Yeah. It's just weird because they made him the best friend of Iksun, right? Oh, they're friends from the army. So that's gonna be kind of weird, but I guess it would make sense since she's abroad. So it's okay
Yeah.
if he's not in the hospital, even though he's a resident there. Mm,
Who knows? We'll see next year what they did with this character.
Yeah.
Okay. So other ships in the show. We mentioned Junwan and Nixun,
Yeah.
right? Like the classic
Shin PD.
the classic Shin PD, the friend gets the sister of his
The
best
main
friend.
character, yeah.
Yes, that's I have no thoughts about this ship, honestly. Like they're very cheesy.
Yeah.
We have a cousin. My sister and I have a cousin. She's a what is she? She's a resident already, right? She's very stressed out. She's a doctor. She's very stressed out about life. And when we were watching Hospital Playlist together, her favorite ship was Junwon and Iksun. Because
Oh.
like I just think there's like different strokes for different folks. There's a
Yeah.
ship for you somewhere. So she likes the cheesy ones, the super affectionate ones, right? Like
Oh.
that's because she needs to relieve some stress and she has some romantic experience, so she doesn't need the angst.
Yeah.
But we like the angst.
Yeah, we like the angst because we
We
have
like
no.
the slow burn.
Yeah.
But yeah. I have no thoughts about this ship. But then it's just kind of annoying how it really is the same pattern as Sunwoo and Bora in Reply
Yeah.
1988. Like them being separated and then we don't know their future.
Yeah.
And then they're probably gonna end up together if they're following the same Sunwoo Bora.
I know.
Right?
Can I make a prediction?
Go.
Can I do that?
Go.
I feel like because they're they're like a refined version of Sunwoo and Bora in a sense that Junwan, like what you mentioned a while ago, he parallels Sunwoo because Sunwoo at the start of the series was kind of like a false romantic like third lead. Everybody thought he was being set up to be the second guy, right?
True.
And in the first episode, I really thought that he was going to be Songhwa's like love interest for like the first I think 30 minutes, and then after that I was like, oh wait, no, never mind. So I feel like they're a refined Bora and Sunwoo. So my prediction is they're going to break up while she's abroad, and then when she comes back, they'll get together again, patch up their issues. You know,
Yeah.
just
I can see
because
it happening.
They're following the same pattern.
And then the
Yeah,
other
aside from that, I
major
have no
ship.
thoughts.
Yeah. The other major ship of this show is Jongwon Winter Garden, sorry. Winter Garden.
Yeah, Winter Garden.
Jongwon and this general surgery resident what's her name? Jang Gyeol?
Gyul, yeah.
Gyeol, played by Shin Yun-bin. This is like a very popular ship. This is why I'm scared to say anything. But
Me too.
I have no feelings about this ship. I don't know why it didn't click for me. I mean, it's a slow burn ship, right?
Yeah.
They didn't get together until They literally barely had any moments. They had scraps of moments that people
Yeah.
hyped up to the max, and then at the finale, they had a big makeout, right?
Yeah.
And so I just okay, because like the main conflict is that Jongwon wants to be a priest, like all his older siblings, and so his mother, of course, she has she has five
Yeah.
children. Four
5
of
children.
them are priests and nuns. So of course she wants her youngest to like continue their family, right,
Yeah.
and not become a priest. So Jang Gyeol eventually develops feelings for what's his name? Jongwon.
John.
And then when Mama Rosa, Jongwon's mom, finds out about it, she kind of pushes them, she ships them because like,
Yeah.
this is the big chance for her to finally have a grandchild. I don't know, just to
Yeah,
not
she the
have
ticket.
another priest
Yeah.
in the family. And so, like, the big question was, is Jongwon going to choose Gyeol? Or is he
Or
going to choose
God.
God?
Oh.
Whoa, what a choice. And so he chooses Gyeol. But then, for me, you have thoughts about this, Louis. You go first. I
Yeah,
want.
I have thoughts about this too. Since we share the same brain cell,
Yes.
you know, I really didn't like. I don't know. I don't know if I didn't like, but I wasn't taken to their scenes. I wasn't getting attached to it. Like how I guess the director and the writers were intending me to react. I wasn't reacting to it the way they were expecting me to react. I think their personalities, I don't know,
Mm.
I can't imagine them being a couple because of how they've been portrayed so far in the show. For example, Yool, has she doesn't have a lot of romantic experience. I think it's mentioned in the scene. She's like, "Oh, I haven't had my first kiss either." And Minha, if
Chuminha,
I'm
yes.
yeah, Minha, she says, "Are you crazy? I mean my first kiss of the year, duh." She says something like that. And also, Jongwon, it's mentioned that he didn't date in college or in medical school because he was really focused on, just pursuing med and then eventually maybe becoming a priest. So the fact that they're kind of rigid, which is not a bad thing, it's just that that's how their characters are, and I don't see how they play off one another yet because they've had limited scenes together, right? And a lot of those scenes were Jungwon kind of berating her for being too cold, right? Like
Yes.
that's a lot of their scenes. And I didn't see how they could be sweet together yet. And also it was kind of a shock to me that Jungwon had feelings for her this whole time.
Yeah.
I kind of thought it was one-sided up till a certain point. I thought it was just Yeol who was like, "Oh, I love him. He's so cute. He's so sweet." It was kind of being hinted at that he liked her, but because it didn't show in his actions, I wasn't feeling it. It's like Reply 88 with
Yes. With
Jungpal, right?
right.
With Jungpal, he doesn't act on his feelings, so that's why I didn't like him. And maybe that's why I don't like this ship. Yeah, I didn't like Jongwon because why are you not doing anything about your situation if you like this girl? Same with Jongwon, where he's also not doing anything about the situation when
But
he supposedly likes
but
Dion,
his
even though,
struggle is choosing God.
yeah, choosing God
Once
and everything.
again, God is a pretty good contender,
I
I
know.
mean, girl won over
Uh,
God. Who would have
I
thought,
mean,
right?
yeah, who would have thought? I don't know. Yeah, he was competing. I mean, she was competing with God, but it would have been nice, I guess, to see scenes that kind of hinted that he was going to choose her over his lifelong dream since he was, I think, a kid. Because Mama Rosa mentions at one point, right, that he wanted to be a priest since he was very, very young. So I just wanted to see, I guess, the motivation behind his choice through his actions. I think I was waiting for that since it was being hyped up as this really big choice. Oh, it wasn't being shown how him choosing her overweighed his
Love
Like,
for God.
yeah, love for God. I don't know. My thoughts are confusing, but the
Mm,
short end is I didn't really vibe with the ship. I was like,
yeah.
okay, it's happening. I'm not against it, but I'm like, I'm not really, I'm kind of
Mm,
passive about it. I'm apathetic to what's happening with those two. I like them in their separate scenes because they have scenes where they're not with each other, and I like their characters. I'm just not feeling their characters together. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Like for me, I think it's just the narrative style, like the way the storytelling, the way like Shin PD and the writers decided to tell the story was that it's gonna be all on her side, and we're not gonna
oh,
show anything from Jongwon's side. But at the end, when he kisses her, that's when we get all these flashbacks of how he cared about her. And
yeah,
so it's like if you're invested in her pining, you'd think, oh man, does he like her back? Is this gonna happen? And then like the big reveal of all his moments, that's like the big moment for you as a shipper, right? Like if
mm,
you ship them, if you were invested in their story, like, oh, finally it's confirmed that they like each, that he likes her. But if you're
yeah,
not invested in the ship, and if I weren't if you're not invested in the ship from the very beginning, or since it was like being shown throughout this season, and then suddenly you get this big moment at the end, it's like, huh? Where'd
yeah,
that come
true.
from? I guess. I mean, I can imagine like, yeah, what you said. I'm not against it. I'm just very apathetic, and it's
Yeah,
like I don't know. It's just not the way I like my pining and my slow burn handled, right?
yeah,
I mean, Ikso.
yeah. Iksong.
For me, like 20 years of feelings, and it's
Yeah,
like, oh, I think for me like the best part is that they've moved on with their lives. He had a wife and a child,
yeah,
and she's very secure in her singleness, and yet, when the opportunity was finally open to them, like they realize, what if there's still a chance for us? Wow.
yeah. Oh, it was so beautiful.
And like the reasons why they didn't end up together, like in college, in med school days, like it made sense, that Ikjun respected that Sokyung actually confessed first, and that he doesn't
Yeah.
wanna, shoot his shot right after his friend got rejected, right? Like
Mm.
it made sense. And then like it just never happened, the timing of it
Yeah.
all. But now the timing is okay.
Yeah.
It is it right? I don't know if the timing's right, but it's okay now. So
Yeah.
they're gonna give it a try. I believe they will give it a try.
Yeah. I believe they're gonna give it the best they got. Oh,
Ah, big song. But yeah, apathy. That is what I feel for Winter Garden.
same.
But yeah, okay, okay. Predictions for season 2. What would we like to see in season 2?
Iksong.
Iksong, obviously.
Iksong. Um, I wanna see how Minha progresses. I love her
Oh,
character.
Chuminha.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
I
her.
love
Okay.
her character.
Chuminha is a resident, an OB GYN resident. And so at first, because Sokyung, sorry we didn't describe the characters like personalities individually, but we're under the assumption that you've watched this show. You should watch the show. just
Yes.
don't just watch the show. It's great. It's worth every minute. But anyway, so Chuminha thinks at first that Sokyung is like he's weird and he's cold and he's like, why is this man, working with pregnant women when he's so like impersonal about everything?
Mm.
And then suddenly she realizes, like, oh, he's really actually a very warm and kind person to his patients. Like, as a mother, right? As a pregnant mother, like, you're very worried about everything. And so having, like, a doctor who's not understanding of all your, like, little concerns is it's scary.
Yeah.
Because, like, you're worried about everything, right? Right?
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. And so like Sokyung is actually a really warm and understanding person. And so Chuminha falls for him. It's so funny. It's really like, girl, your taste is
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird, but I respect your taste.
Yeah. I respect
I
it.
respect. And then homegirl, really confesses to him, right? Like
Yeah.
he gave her a ride to the subway station, and on the way, it's like, I like you. please
Mm.
please don't pretend that this didn't happen. Right? She said that.
Yeah, she said that. She
Yes.
said that.
Damn girl.
Yeah.
Oh, my assertive queen, Chumin
Oh,
ha.
and right before that scene, she waits for him to get off like his shift, right?
Mhm.
She really creates the situation. She waits for him even though it was said that she got off like hours ago or something. But she waits for him and she's like, "Give me a ride, please." And she doesn't wait for his response. She just says, "Thank you." So he has no choice because he's awkward.
I just like it was really a surprise moment. I don't know if anyone really ships the ship, but I would because I mean I
Yeah.
just want her to be I want them both to be happy. But
Yeah.
Sokyung, oh, another thing I want to see in season 2 is like
Mm.
what really happened with Sokyung and his ex-wife. Right? That
Oh,
was
yeah.
these
It's being alluded to. And then, like, his internship, right? Because he left his internship abroad. Like, that,
fellowship. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
fellowship, sorry. Yeah, he left the fellowship abroad. And we don't really see how he ended up back at the hospital.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So I don't know. There's the story there. There's something there. So I think
yeah.
that's gonna be talked about in season 2. What else do I want? Um, what else do we want from season 2?
Oh, the plot line with, I guess, again, Sokyung's half sibling
He has
and
a
his
half sibling.
father's. Yeah, because his father's mistress was pregnant, right?
Oh
And she was
yeah.
always calling. She was calling him at the end of episode 12. I think
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
stopped. It ends with him, right? It ends with his call.
Was it his the mistress or his ex-wife? I'm confused.
Oh, I.
I thought it was the ex-wife.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm so curious about that ex-wife, and I'm curious about that mistress because here's another comment about some of the side characters.
Hmm.
When there's a bad person in hospital playlist, they're just really like straight up a bad person, you know? Like there's no redeeming
That's true.
qualities to them. It's like the mistress, she has the show is portraying her to be someone who like wow, the audacity, you like the nerve, right? That's the thought of the characters whenever she's being talked about or whenever she's on screen. It's like this girl, she really has no
No
limit
shame.
to yeah, no limit to like what she will ask of him, of Sokyung, even though she's done so much. She's had a part in I guess some of his traumatizing experiences. And then that doctor from neurology, the one who was like in a reality show,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, right. Like when there are bad characters, they're just like bad characters. And the one in Cardio,
The guy, yeah, the cardio guy who handles customer service or like complaints on the message board because
yeah,
he deletes all the complaints about him
yeah,
because he's an awful doctor.
yeah. And he was just like the he went to golf right with Junwan. He's like a
Yeah.
horrible person, and then he was also used for that one side plot about a CEO who was supposedly engaged to him. He was engaged, right, to this girl who was supposedly like a self-made woman,
Mm-hmm.
and they get broken up because her daughter, I guess, didn't like him, so she went to his office pretending to be a patient. Like it's just
Uh-huh.
shown briefly in the montage when they're singing na in their band practice. Yeah, like when they were at band practice, the daughter and the mom and that cardio doctor, they're shown in that montage where he's supposedly meeting her for dinner, but the daughter and the mom come in and like they look mad, and his smile kind of drops. So those are his three kind of like, I guess, side plots.
Side. Yes.
Side,
Okay.
yeah. And he's a character meant to meant for fans to be annoyed at, It's like
That's
they
true.
don't
That's true.
yeah, they don't have antagonists, but they have like bad people. Like not bad people,
Not
like
bad people. It's like just
uh, annoying people. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
there's really, once again, if this were like a plot show, there would be like
Yeah.
an evil hospital administrator who's
Yeah.
trying to, take over the hospital and sell it
Yeah.
for money, right?
Yeah. Or like
There's
cutting
no,
costs,
yeah,
because
yeah,
no,
yeah,
yeah, there's
firing
no
people left and
antagonist.
right. Nah, nothing like that
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, there's nothing like that. So like the three bad characters they have, they're just like solely for the purpose of having
Yeah.
bad characters,
Like
I
they're
guess, to
just
have like a bit of
selfish people,
fiction.
right?
Yeah.
They're just selfish or inconsiderate or whatever, but they're not like, oh, I will derail your life, will
Yeah.
completely derail your life and ruin everyone's lives in the hospital. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's fun.
I think it's a slice of life drama,
Yeah.
Like it
I
wouldn't
love it.
make sense that there's this big bad. Like, okay, from Prison Playbook, because like it's Shin PD, but he had a different writer. It's not the same writer as the Reply series and Hospital Playlist. And so
Oh.
like yeah, the vibe was, it was similar, but there were some like new elements. Like of course it's in a prison. So of course there are really some morally not upright characters out there. And so like towards the end, like there are some like threats to the main character's life, Kim Jae-hyuk. But then yeah, they also didn't get a redemption arc. Cause like, why would they? Like
Yeah.
the basic theme of the show is that there are a lot of people in prison that are not exactly bad people. They just have to make bad choices, but they're still worth caring about, right? And
Mhm.
still worth protecting and all that. But there are also some really awful people in there. And the awful people, like, they're and they're not necessarily antagonists throughout the entire show,
Yeah.
but they're just kind of, they have little story arcs, right? So it's not,
Yeah.
it doesn't get dragged out that there's this
Yeah.
like evil gang lord who's trying to kill the main character for 10 episodes. Like, nah, it's like
Yeah.
2 3 episodes max. So yeah, it keeps the show going. Like it keeps the
Yeah.
vibe consistent. Because like it would be too heavy if there were really someone trying to get the main character all throughout the
Yeah.
show. So yeah, same with Hospital Playlist. Like, it doesn't make sense that there's a big bad.
Yeah.
So
I like that there's no big bad. Like it's just
yeah.
a character driven story.
Yeah,
Like even in things I read or other works of fiction that I consume, I like character driven stories
same.
more than like,
Plot
oh, there's a
driven one.
threat.
Yeah. It's like life is a threat enough,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Living is enough of an antagonist.
So yeah, for season two, I think they'll just maintain that. I mean, it's all just about like what more do you want to know about the characters, right? It's not really
Mm.
like, oh, there's gonna be a big bad, or there's gonna be a producer who discovers their cover band and then they're gonna get an album at the end of the show. I would hate that.
I wouldn't
Oh,
want that to happen.
I hate that so much. I want no plot, only
Yeah.
characters.
Oh, I just thought of something that I would want to see in season 2.
Yes.
The Hawaii incident.
What happened in Hawaii?
Yeah, like why? What is it? What did he do that was so embarrassing that it could be used as really good blackmail material? That's interesting.
That's what I love about the premise of the show, that they have a 20-year friendship. Because, like, if we ever run out of things to talk about in the present, you could just talk about their past.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of things happened in those 20 years, right?
Yeah.
I love that.
Jungwon, how did he become Daddy Longlegs? Like, the entire
Yeah.
backstory to that when he was in a different hospital.
What else? I would like to see some cameos of like previous Shin PD actors, because he has a tendency of just bringing people back randomly, as patients or as doctors. I love that. There's a specific boy I'm looking for. I don't know. Do you know Jong Hae-in?
Yeah, he sounds familiar.
You search him right now. He's so cute.
Okay.
He was in Prison Playbook. He's such a baby boy. His face is so baby. The guy that Doksun met after the concert, right?
They're like middle school friends or something.
Yeah. And then, so that was 1988. And then in Prison Playbook, Shin PD actually brought him for like a main role in the show. He's like a military person. Whatever, he's a
He looks
captain. And he's so
adorable.
cute. I love him so much. And like, Shin PD has so many actors that he could bring back. Because like I'm sure a lot of them have a really good relationship with him. And like they know, any
Yeah.
cameo would be great to have in this show. You just show up for like a few hours, in a week. Not even in a few days. And then you're done with your shoot for one episode. But anyway, I just
What if
bring him back.
what if Yeri has a scene with Jo Jung Suk because they were in a drama
Oh,
together,
that's so
right?
Jojo, Suk, and Yeri. Cannot
Mm.
believe they kissed. That's so gross. That's such a gross
Yeah.
thought. Like Doksun and Ikjun.
Uh, she's a
Yeah,
child.
she's a child. But okay, that would be such a funny cameo. I would love that. I'd love that. Yeah. But there, yeah, all of Shin PD's like little children and various actors and friends.
Oh,
I'd
really
love that.
cute. I'm thinking. Oh, this one. I'm not. I guess throughout the series, because they really planned this to be a show with multiple seasons, right?
Yeah.
And in the first season, we have two medical,
Med students.
med students
Yeah, the
there.
twins.
Yeah, the twins. And I kind of want to see their progression in the field, like as they, level up to.
Yeah. They become interns and then they
Yeah,
become residents.
yeah.
Oh.
I'd love
Oh
to
my
see that.
god. You know what we're gonna see throughout the years? We're gonna
Mm.
see baby Uju grow up.
Oh, it's
Oh.
adorable. The behind the scenes clip when he was, introduce yourself, say hi, and then his actor got all flustered.
Yeah, because he's like, how old is
Yeah.
he? He's like 6 years old or something, I think.
Yeah, he's like 6.
Yeah, and then everyone was staring at him because he's so cute. And then he just started crying because he's not used to people staring at him. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, baby.
It
Hmm.
was so cute.
Yeah, we're gonna watch him grow up. That's so. Okay.
I'd love to see his dynamic with Songhwa more because we see a little bit of that in season
Yeah.
1.
Because she's
Yeah.
gonna be his mom. What?
Yeah.
I
I
believe
mean,
in it.
their first scene together was them sleeping on the couch sa office.
Oh, I know.
Right? So basically, I mean,
Maybe. Yes.
so
Okay.
cute.
Then, for me, I just want to see more of their band. I wish they would perform songs that I know from like the early 2000s. Right? I just want to see more of their band scenes because I love it so much. Yeah. I hope they don't do something similar to what they did with Aloha, like the funny karaoke scene. Because like I feel like the
Yeah.
novelty of that scene was that it was so out of nowhere, right? It was so
Yeah.
funny out of nowhere. And then the rest of the show, they just did like their normal band performances. So I hope they don't try to recreate it, like the magic of that scene. You get me? You get me? Like when you try to do it again and then it just
Yeah.
becomes cheap, you know?
I don't know. I'm just gonna expand on the Aloha tangent.
Yes.
But I think it was sort of I don't know if it was a plot device or a metaphor, but right, because Jun and Seokkyung, they're kind of arguing, oh, it's my favorite song. No, it's my favorite song. Right? And it was kind of alluding to Songhwa, like their to Songhwa. Right? There was this scene, I think I was messaging you about this in band practice. And the two of them were talking. It's my favorite. And Ikjun and Seokkyung was like, it's my favorite. No, it's my favorite. And Songhwa is framed in the middle of those two. And yeah. Oh, the cinematography of the series. It's really
like the little moments that you think don't matter, but actually,
yeah.
interesting.
Ooh.
I like that about this show. Like there are always these little moments that you wouldn't have caught if you didn't know what was gonna happen at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why rewatching the show is so fun.
Oh, I rewatched it.
I watched
What,
so
3
many.
times?
3
4
times.
times?
Same. Every time I am sad. If you catch me watching Hospital Playlist, I'm probably sad about something. But yeah. So that's Hospital Playlist season 1,
Yeah.
I guess. That's I don't know, man. For those who listened to this and didn't watch the show, I'm so sorry. You went through this
Yeah.
because you will understand nothing. But I mean, the title of this podcast season is reviews, recaps, and rants, and this is the rant. We're just ranting about how
Yeah.
much we love the show because it's the best. It's a comfort show.
It really is. It's so relaxing to watch compared to the other dramas out there. They have their, moments, but hospital playlist will always be special to me.
I know. So that's it for us today. Thank you, Louis, for joining the podcast today. Um,
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
yes. And I guess we will see you all soon. So thank you and goodbye.